please turn on your microphone when speaking so that virtual attendees can hear you. For members attending virtually, please remember to unmute your device before speaking and mute when you are not speaking to create a positive experience for all attendees. Phone participants should use *6 to mute and unmute and *9 to raise their hand. Lisa, please proceed with the roll call.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the committee, when I call your name, please respond. Simon Lara. Robert Vondenacker. Nick Russo. Ron Gritman.
Here.
Thank you. Paul Montes.
Here.
Moreno. I'm sorry, Paul Montes.
Here.
Thank you. Amy Moreno. Adam Kurtz.
Here.
Thank you. Brian Kehoe.
Present.
Thank you. Sherry Collins.
Present.
Thank you. Aaron Red.
Present.
Thank you. Felipe Moreno.
Present.
Thank you. Jack McCallis.
Here.
Thank you. Janet Kozinski. Wayman Allen. Robert Parks.
Here.
Thank you. Aaron Redmond.
And present, sorry.
Thank you. JB Shaw.
I'm here. Thank you.
Mike Denby. Richard Allen.
Here.
Thank you. Wendy Kreitz.
I'm here.
Thank you. Did I miss anyone? Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
A quorum is now present. The meeting of the MAG Solid Waste Advisory Committee is now called to order. Thank you for attending today's meeting. Copies of the meeting agenda packet are available on the information table. The presentation is posted on the MAG website under Solid Waste Advisory Committee meeting. The MAG public comment process provides opportunities for members of the public to comment on items scheduled on today's agenda or on items that fall under MAG's jurisdiction. Opportunities are provided for public comment under call to the audience and action items. MAG also provides the opportunity for members of the public to submit written comments via the MAG website prior to the meeting, as long as the comments are received at least 1 hour prior to the posted start time for the meeting. If you would like to speak to comment at today's meeting, please fill out a white request to speak card located at the information table. Please be sure to indicate the number for which you want to speak and give it to the designated MAG staff member. If you parked in the garage, remember to validate your ticket. Parking validators are available on the information table. For those who purchased a transit ticket to come to the meeting, please see staff for a ticket. Please note that hearing assisted devices are available from MAG staff. Our next item is a call to the audience. This is an opportunity for the public to comment on items that fall under MAG's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda or that are on the agenda for discussion and not for action. 15 minutes will be provided for the call to the audience agenda item unless the committee requests an exception to this limit. Members of the public who are attending in person may deliver their comments from the lectern at the front of the room. You have up to 3 minutes to complete your comments. The timer is provided to assist you. When the light on the timer changes from green to yellow, you have 1 minute remaining. If the light turns red, a buzzer will sound, meaning your allotted time has expired. I've received no requests to speak cards for this agenda item. Are there any other members of the public here today who desire to speak on this item? Looks like not. MAG provides the opportunities for members of the public to submit written comments prior to the meeting, as long as the comments are received at least 1 hour prior to the posted start time for the meeting. MAG staff, do we have any written comments for this item?
Madam Chair, we did not receive any written comments.
Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is the approval of the June 14th, 2022 meeting minutes. Is there any discussion? Prior to taking a vote on the agenda item 3, staff, do we have any speaker cards for this item or any written comments?
Madam Chair, we do not.
Is there a motion to approve the June 14th, 2022 meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion from Richard Allen and a second.
Second.
We have a second from Robert Parks. Can I have a voice vote for those in the room? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. For those who wish to abstain from the vote, say abstain. A roll call vote of the members participating virtually will be taken at this time by Lisa Young.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the committee, when I call your name, please state your vote. Simon Lara,
Will approve.
thank you. Robert Vondenacker,
Vote to approve.
thank you. Nick Russo, Ron Gritman,
Aye.
thank you. Paul Montes,
Aye.
thank you. Amy Moreno,
Aye.
thank you. Brian Kehoe,
Aye.
thank you. Sherry Collins,
Aye.
thank you. Aaron Red, Aaron Red. Felipe Moreno,
Approve.
thank you. Jack McCallis,
Approve.
thank you. Wayman Allen, Aaron Redmond,
Approve.
thank you. JB Shaw,
Aye.
thank you. Wendy Christ,
Aye.
thank you. Did I miss anyone? Madam Chair, we have a unanimous vote.
Thank you, Lisa. Next, we'll be discussing the Public Works succession planning. This is a topic that came up at a previous meeting. I'll be briefly speaking about the City of Chandler's Public Work and University, followed by Sherry Collins from City of Mesa, who will be discussing her future foreman program. And there'll be an opportunity for anyone else to provide their information from their community. In the City of Chandler, we have a plan or goal to not only plan for succession training for future openings that will be happening upon our department, and also give an opportunity or more formal opportunity for internal staff to develop and be promoted throughout our division and departments. The first thing that we are utilizing is a program that is a talent management system internally called LEAF, which stands for Learn, Engage, Achieve, and Flourish. Currently, the City of Chandler uses this throughout the city for people to leave positive impressions about fellow staff, to do performance evaluations, to provide training, and also to create groups that could collaborate about many topics. The Public Works and Utilities Director gathered select individuals throughout each division, and we are in the planning process right now where we are developing a program that will be utilizing LEAF to create opportunities for people to learn more about the city and job opportunities within our department. So we looked at the opportunities that would be available and what people want, especially frontline workers who may feel that they don't have the opportunity to grow. So often that when we go out, we're looking to outside sources to fill that when we want to grow the talent that we have or at least give the opportunity to the talent that we already have in place. One of the topics that will be in this program is just an overview of city organization. Not only when we look at flow charts of, organizational charts for the city as a whole, the department and divisions, but also looking at things like council meetings, budget, and some other opportunities. There'll also be snapshots of window into internal jobs. So if people, instead of finding out when the job posts and then looking at job descriptions through human resources, they'll have a better idea of each description of future job opportunities or job descriptions. They'll be able to look at, even if they want to apply, if there's any previous training or experience that needs to be, or any opportunity to gain experience through possibly a mentorship or shadow, or even some videos we're looking at where each individual work group will providing an overview of not only what their job description says online, but what they do day to day. Give people a better opportunity of finding out what they may want to look into in the future. We'll also be doing training for employees. Some will be basic overviews of safety training that we currently have, which is already in place, but look at some other opportunities for different job skills. Some will be open to all participants. In fact, other people outside of our department will be able to see, while others will be locked down if they're more specific about water management, some solid waste opportunities, and so on. Finally, what we'll be looking at is providing a resource library, so all materials in one place. And this could be from city code to regulatory information that's provided by ADEQ, EPA, and other organizations. And then also maybe documents or resources that are frequently used by that job description. So I said we're just in the beginning of this, but it's something that is needed, and we want everything to be in one place so that our internal staff not only can continue to grow and plan for those future needs that we'll be having as people retire, but also, like I said, to give the opportunity to other staff so that they feel they have the skills necessary to move up within the organization. Anybody has any questions, can let me know or always email me.
Hey, Tracy, this is Robert with the City Surprise. One question, I don't know if you said it, but is this for internal employees only, or do you allow this for people?
It will be at this time for internal candidates only.
So how long have you had this going on?
We've just started it. We're in the planning. So right now, I think there's some water and water maintenance because Public Works for us is streets, solid waste, and water. So they already have something posted. And then all our safety videos are already on. A lot of the training that we do now, some can be self-paced. Some is through WebEx. So you can be just like we are today, where some people are at their desk and other people are in person. And then others are only classroom. And then we do both internal training. So some of our training opportunities might be through a safety team or maybe even a supervisor. And then others for more leadership or professional development. The city through our HR training brings in outside sources as well. So not only are we doing skill-based, so you could have a frontline worker that's a foreman that maybe wants to learn more about Excel. They have that opportunity. Or there's some other, like I said, professional growth. That's already on there now. We're just going to make a separate section that's going to be just Public Works. So again, maybe someone internally more likely is going to see how they can move up the ladder. Maybe they want to switch divisions. It'll be open to all City of Chandler employees at this time. In the future, we might be able to post some of this when those jobs get posted externally. That some of these, videos and short-term information to give people a better idea of what the job entails.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to Sherry Collins from City of Mesa, who will be discussing the Future Foreman Program.
Good morning, everyone. Ours is a little more specific to just the foreman in solid waste. The City of Mesa has a program that they put in place with that I'll go over with you right now. Next slide. So the background of this program was, well, I could find information back to 2014, but our last program that we actually put on and conducted was in 2019. So we're actually getting ready to, we want to go ahead and do this again. We see a need for it, but 2019 is the last time we actually did it. But we created the program to encourage employee development, give some in-depth training for employees who would be interested in promoting to a foreman position, and engage employees with interactive training, kind of allow them to try it out. Is it really something they want to do? It's not specific to operators that want to promote. It is open to any employee that actually wants to promote within our department. Next slide. So the general overview of the program is we have an application process that we have them go through, and they actually have to fill the application out and qualify. We also have the classroom training part of it, and then we have an actual shadow program part of it. So I'm going to go through those with you. So next slide. The application process, the employees will actually go in and fill out an application. I just kind of highlighted here what our eligibility requirements are for those. And what we did is we mimicked what the job description is. So if they were to actually apply for this position, they would qualify for this position. So we want to make sure that they qualify for this position before we put them through the training program on this for the application. So on here, you can see what it is, 3 to 5 years field experience, operating equipment, which would be what the operators do each day, 2 years heavy equipment, heavy equipment experience, which is what they do every day, and then a CDL, which again, they have. So that's what we do with the application process. And then next slide. So once they make it through the application process and we select the operators that we need, we put them through classroom training. So one of the things we do with this program as well is, and I have it a little bit in the rest of the slides, but once they make it through the eligibility of the application, we put them through the classroom training process, because what we would like to do with these, the employees who make it through this process and decide it's something they want to do, is we can use them on an interim basis, from time to time when we need assistance in the office to kind of keep their knowledge up and help them continue train on this. So in the classroom training, we actually have an agenda that we put together. In the agenda, we'll do a pre-test, kind of what do they know of the overview. It's not scored or anything. And then through the course of a day, it's one full day. We have all different multiple levels of management and our safety team, our customer service representatives go through a lot of different information with these people who are looking to maybe be a foreman in the future. So we'll do just an overview of our job duties as a foreman. We go over a safety module with them. We go over what the morning duties are of a foreman. We go over some interpersonal relationship training, and then we talk about professional conduct with customers, with others. We go through management policies. We do some customer service training, because as a foreman, they're going to be out in the field talking to customers and dealing with that type of things. Then we also go over some interview tips. So if they are to get an interview for this, we kind of give us some interview tips for the future. And then at the very end of the session, we'll do a post-training test to kind of see, how they did from pre-test to post-test and what they learned. It's just like, again, it's not scored, but it's just something that we do. And then next slide. The next part of our program is the shadow program. So they've done the application process, they've gone through the full day of classroom training, then we move on to the shadow program. So for 2 weeks, the candidate will actually shadow the program, shadow the current foreman to see what they do. And then the next 2 weeks, the candidate actually is the foreman. So the candidate's in there doing all the foreman duties, and the foreman is actually their shadow at this point. So it gives them a really good idea of what it is to be a foreman. It's a full month-long program of either being the shadow or being shadowed. So that's worked pretty well. And then the next slide, I have as results. So basically, we have seen successful results with this. A lot of our foremen that are currently there right now have went through the Future Foreman program. And so whenever the opportunities come up, they know what to expect. So They're ready for the promotional opportunities. They've gone through all of these shadow programs and training, and they know what to expect once they get in there. And then what we do with the people who have successfully completed the program that we have is we use them as backup foremen. So if we have a foreman that's out and we need a fill-in, we call these our fill-in foremen. So then they get to come in and be the foreman on, like I was saying, like an interim basis. So whenever we need them for vacations or sick leave or specialized training for our foreman, we can pull them in and they can continue to use the skills that they learned in this program. And again, it just continually trains there for when a foreman position does come up, then they'll have that training and background for that. So one of the good things about it is they get to try it. They're like, do I really want to do this? And we have had several operators come in, specifically, I know operators come in and try it and they say it's not for them. So they've decided that they don't want to do the fill-in foreman, or they don't want to actually be a foreman in the long term. And that's totally okay. It's kind of nice. So they're not trying for this position and getting to something that they actually realize they don't want. So it works both ways. Either they do want it or they don't. And then, like I said, we have success with this program, and then others can see it working because they see them getting promoted through this program. So it's like a little internal university we put them through. So that's kind of the overview of this program. With that, I'll open it up to any questions you might have.
I have a question, Sherry. This is Aaron from Peoria.
Yes, Aaron.
The question is, our format is not set up with foremen. We have leads and then the supervisor. Do you have leads and then the foreman and then the supervisor, much like Phoenix? Or do you have kind of like that same setup that we have?
So we don't. It goes from the operator in the field to the foreman who oversee the field operations. From the foreman, we have administrators. So they're the two administrators that are in the office. So I don't know if we're just calling them different, but we don't have like lead operators. We go from operators to foreman and then foreman to administrators.
Okay, now does your foreman drive?
They do drive when we are shorthanded, yes, and they do come in on overtime shifts sometimes to drive, but it's not in the normal rotation of a week, only if we're short. Do your leads drive?
They do, but they are also, so we have a union here.
Mm-hmm.
They're also union. So that's a little bit of a challenge for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Just curious about your structure because we're trying to see if we can implement some changes as well.
Okay. Okay, if there's no more questions, thank you for you guys' time.
Thank you, Sherry. Are there any other municipalities that would like to share anything about their succession planning or training program for employees? Okay, the next item on our agenda is new employee solid waste safety training. And first up, we have Felipe Moreno of City of Phoenix.
All right, good morning, everyone. I am Felipe Moreno, Assistant Public Works Director with the City of Phoenix. I oversee our solid waste utility. And today I'm going to talk about a little bit about our suite of equipment operator training for safety and for new hires. So next slide. So just to give you an idea of who we are, we're 418,000 residential homes across the city. We do not do commercial, we just do residential. We have about 271 operators currently in terms of FTE positions now. I'll go into our vacancy rows in a minute, but that is how many we have on the books. We operate out of 4 regions, north, south, east, and west. So we're up as far as Union Hills. That's where our north yard is. Down on Buckeye and 27th Avenue, or 22nd is our Salt River Service Center. Out on the West Valley, 43rd and Glen Rosa is our west. And then up the 10th and Ann Street is Okima, our east yard. Next slide. So in looking at our training categories, we really break it into three tiers. One is new hire. We have our ongoing safety and operational training, and then we have our post-accident and retraining. So one thing I'll say about this is with our new hires, I don't know about the rest of you, but one of the things we're obviously noticing with our CDL shortage and with just the competition in general across our own municipalities, it's getting more and more challenging to bring on, recruit, retain, and hire operators, seasoned operators. So one of the things we're noticing is we are very much changing our scope and targeting people who have capacity to learn, who have a great attitude and work ethic, and who can grow in the organization. So we're really bringing in a lot more of a green candidate and then growing them into the Phoenix mold. And so to do that, I've invested across the utility to add positions, and we've been able to successfully add a more robust training team. This way we can onboard more people, train them, provide the extra support they need because they're greener and don't have that solid waste experience as they come in the door. So that's been a huge piece of our new future, is just to really grow our own and develop people that are a little more rookie to the industry, but teach them the basics and grow them into the safety culture. So that's for our new hire. And again, ongoing in safety, that's just our training that we put our seasoned operators through to make sure they stay sharp and hone their skills. And then post-accident retraining really happens after something happens with relation to an accident or a preventable incident. Next slide. So looking at our new hire, this is kind of running through how we train new employees. So it's about a 6-week academy that we put our new hires through, and it can be broken up different ways. A lot of times we have to, put them in the field once they have one piece of proficiency and then bring them back to the academy for another, just to make sure that the operation is continuing to move and we're not putting undue strain on the day-to-day business. But basically it comes down to policies and standard operating procedures are the first thing they learn out the gate. So understanding city culture, city policies, operational policies within the department, as well as citywide policies, the duties of the job and expectations. What does it mean to be a SWEO? What are the pillars and the culture of who we are as an organization that we expect all of our employees to embrace and be part of? Then they learn equipment specific pre and post trip inspection. So you'd be surprised, you probably see it, a lot of people who've had years of experience driving over the road or in other industries still have a hard time doing a 7-step or a pre or post trip. And a lot of the feedback we get is wherever they came from, some of these companies out there, they just don't really enforce it or impress upon it. So we make sure we treat everybody like they're a brand new operator from a CDL standpoint, make sure they understand the basics. Then we get more into equipment overview and functioning. So looking at our equipment, we operate different types of side loaders, different makes and models, rear loaders, front loaders, roll off, etc. So they're learning all of those things. Articulated loader for bulk trash. So they learn the ins and outs of our various pieces of equipment. So how this breaks down is there's basically 40-hour closed course. So once these first 4 bullets are really classroom training, and then they're going to get into 40 hours of closed course training. So we have at our Employee Driver Training Academy a mock course with alleys and street lights and all sorts of things, and we actually put them through that kind of collection so they can drive on a closed safe course for 40 hours. Then they really focus a lot on map reading and training and testing. The city is very diverse, complex, lots of different communities set up differently. So map reading is very critical, and we have to make sure they're proficient there to ensure we have an accurate collection operation and we're not missing containers out there and they're doing it safely. And then 160 hours after that of field training. So this is where they're actually out collecting, they're working, but they're with a trainer or being evaluated by a trainer every week, and to make sure that they're on par with their development to be signed off on all the equipment. So that's kind of our new hire component. Again, it's about 6 weeks, and when we have some people learning the ASL piece of it, others are automated side loader, others might be learning bulk trash and other pieces of equipment. So we try to stagger the academy so we have enough staff to keep a 2 to 3 to 1 ratio at any given time. So it's not watered down. We can provide that extra support given that we understand most of our candidates or new hires are newer to the industry. Next slide. All right, so then moving into ongoing training. So this is something we just continue to do no matter how long you've been with the organization. We do routine route audits to ensure that drivers are driving by the numbers, we call it, following the maps as prescribed, because we route very specific for safety, making sure we're not making undue left turns, going through school zones, cutting corners, going inside community gates in the exit, trying tailgating, things like that. So we're very specific on our route audits to ensure that people are driving them as prescribed. They're not speeding, they're being safe in how they operate. Then we do quarterly random pre and post trip testing. So we have like basically bingo balls at each yard, and you'll call out, a number, and basically that's that employee, and they get random pre-trip, post-trip testing. So they have to perform that in front of their foreman and ensure that they do it well as a 7-step. If they fail that, they are sent home for the day. We don't let them operate if we don't see that they're proficient in a certain area, and then they come back the next day and retest. And if they fail again, then we're looking at sending them back to the academy for more formal retraining. We also do weekly safety tailgate meetings, which is on various topics. Right now, just coming out of summer, we did a lot of heat mitigation, things like that, but also a lot of safety back to school, just how to be safe out in the community and with our equipment. We also do monthly safety modules. So we have kiosks at each of our yards with computers, and monthly operators are required to take a different safety module. It could be various topics about operating, about being safe in the community, about personal safety and wellness. So those are things that they have to ensure that they complete monthly in order to be in compliance with our safety training program. And then there's impromptu safety spotlights. So our safety project manager is always putting things out, highlighting industry trends, things in the news, ensuring that we're up to date on the current safety trends that are out there. And if there's things we need to be aware of, or maybe another municipality, even across the country experience, we try to keep those as teachable moments and ensure that we're including those as our own lessons learned for the future. Next slide. And then we have our post-accident retraining. So this is really about when there's a collision or an operational accident. And this is kind of how we put them through their retraining. So when you have your first non-preventable accident, there's an accident review. There's always a root cause analysis, like what happened, how did this happen? It's a discussion with the operator and the safety team. Then they go through 8 hours of on-route evaluation. So they're basically being monitored by a trainer, just like they would have if they were a new hire, just to ensure that they're implementing the lessons learned, that they're operating safely, and that they're following all of our protocols. After that, if there is a second preventable accident, we do that root cause analysis again. We start from the basics, and then we do what we call a risk versus reward training, and that's an 8-hour classroom training with the safety team. This is a really good training because a lot of what we see out there with accidents, it's complacency, it's taking chances, it's rushing. I know you're probably all in the same boat with staffing, where they're just trying to get through the day, and we have lots of demand, limited staff. So making sure that we're never sacrificing safety for getting done quickly is something we want to continue to impress upon our operators. So that risk reward training has been really helpful to just reframe and get them centered back to what's important, which is their safety. And then after that, they go through an 8-hour on-route evaluation as well with the safety supervisor to make sure that they're applying what they've learned. So with that, I'll take, I think, next slide. I think we're at time. Any questions on any part of our program? That's just a high-level overview of kind of how we're structured in Phoenix.
This is Adam Kurtz with the City of Goodyear. I got a question for you. Do you guys use telematics in the vehicles as part of your safety training?
We do. So we have our AVL system right now. We're actually in the process of working to procure a new vendor to really take it to the next level, not just have our normal AVL system, but really do a lot more with telematics. We're looking to implement Samsara, which is a camera system, safety camera system, which I know some cities across the valley are already using in a lot of industries. So we do a little bit with AVL to kind of validate, were they speeding, were they doing certain things they shouldn't have been doing, driving the wrong way down the road. But in terms of next level telematics to really inform our safety behaviors and provide even that next level coaching tool, that's kind of our next generation that we're currently working to transition into.
Thanks for that. Yeah, City of Goodyear uses a third eye system. So yeah, we've been using that for a while with some pretty good success. So
Yeah, I might want to pick your brain on how that's going because we're very excited about getting into that next generation of using that camera system to really protect our operators and the city as well. You know, just in terms of validating their good behavior and finding ways to capture risky behavior before it becomes an accident.
definitely. Thank you.
Hi, this is Sherry Collins, City of Mesa. I have a couple questions.
Sure.
First of all, I think you might have answered one. I was wondering how the 8-hour route evaluation was handled, if it was actually in person in the cab, through a video recording system, and then do you do 8 hours all at once? But it sounds like you don't have an onboard video recording system.
Correct. We don't have that currently. It's
Okay.
done through either in the cab. It can be a combination of either in the cab, and we're very case by case. Really, you know, the supervisor, the safety team kind of evaluates where that operator is at. Do they need more in the cab so they can kind of have that better mentoring, like real time, or can they follow them? Sometimes it's just following them, and then and then debriefing after certain periods of time, and then that's broken up. That 8 hours is throughout the week. But it could be one of these days where maybe they have to break it up to make the week last because, again, with our staffing issues, we're having to be a little creative, but we try to do everything sequentially so that we can get them through and signed off and feel good about them back on the road.
Okay. And then also we have an in-cab DVR recording system as well. So we've had it almost 2 years. We have our safety guy on the line too today, and it has been very beneficial to us as well. So if you need anything from us, let us know on that.
Great. Yeah, that would be helpful because we're fortunately we have a really strong relationship with our labor group. But as always, you can imagine labor would have something to say about things that have cameras facing in and facing out.
Yeah.
So far, we've had much success with their understanding and support, but it's always good to know who else is out there doing it and how it's been beneficial. So I may want to be talking to you as well just to help us with that business case.
Yep. And then my last question is about route audits, you said. You know, how they're running left turns, et cetera. So who does the route audits? Do you have a routing specialist? How do you handle that?
So we've just centralized routing. So we have a routing team with a supervisor that really just focuses on ensuring that we're consistent and everyone's not doing it their own way and it's following our prescribed standards. But in terms of the audits, the foremen out there they'll randomly audit their crews at any given time, following the one set of standards and guidelines that we have for how we're routed. So it's a team effort in terms of who does the audit, but it's all done and developed out of one shop downtown.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Amy Morano with the City of Glendale.
Hello.
I was wondering how many dedicated trainers that you have for this.
Right. So we started out with one project manager who's over the safety and training group and 2 supervisors who did the training. And then we had to pool drivers and foremen at different times to help provide that training. But as you can imagine, that pulls from the day-to-day operation. So over time, we've really worked to reallocate positions and through supplemental budgets, add positions. So currently I have 5 foremen that are dedicated just to training. And then we've added another 2 supervisors. So 1 over our safety routing piece. And then the other 3, they're doing more than they're doing that piece of classroom training. The foremen really focus on the field training and the route training and the closed and open course or community training. But the supervisors do a lot of the classroom. And then we work collaboratively with our HR department safety to do more CDL refreshers and things like that. So we leverage their resources as well. So I have a team of about 11 on the safety team when you add some admin staff that help with documentation and putting modules together and things like that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, this is Paul Montes with the town of Gilbert. Hi, can you tell me the success rate of your post-accident retraining as far as your first-time accidents, never seen a second-time accident?
Yeah, so right now we're still fairly new into this new model. So we're actually gathering that data. This is kind of our baseline year to really see like how have we done for people who've had those first accidents, and are they having recidivist accidents, or are they just going another year without something, or 2 years? So we're working on gathering that data, and I can provide it, but we don't have anything that I would want to stand behind just yet because we're still in the process of kind of tracking that.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Dave Pena from City of Mesa.
Hi, good morning, everyone. David Penny here, safety technician for City of Mesa Solid Waste Department. Thank you for having me. I work alongside my supervisor, safety coordinator, safety education coordinator, Brian Vanderwood. We administer our safety training program to all of our new hires here, regardless of level of previous level of experience, covering various safety topics, including heat stress, HAZCOM, bloodborne pathogens, those real general kind of safety topics. But in addition to that, we focus on operator safety. Next slide, please. Excuse me a sec. The purpose of our training is to introduce our operators to our safety policies and procedures and be forthcoming with our expectations. We want to promote a positive safety culture where trust and respect can be earned, and give an overview of best practices by providing examples and discussing various collection scenarios. All new hires are required to participate in this training program, regardless of previous experience. With solid waste collection as the sixth most dangerous profession in the world, there are numerous scenarios where operators must make quick decisions to avoid an incident. We believe our training can help prevent incidents and accidents by citing our own experiences as operators, by sharing pictures and video footage of our own incidents and from others throughout the industry to make the material relatable. As safety professionals specializing in solid waste collection, we utilize information we've gathered from incidents to help educate and inform our new hires to prepare them for the hazards that await for them in the field. We typically spend anywhere from 3 to 4 days with our new hires, with most of that time spent in a classroom style setting, facilitated by an almost one-on-one style of training where new hires can feel comfortable and are encouraged to ask questions. This style of training is unique in the sense that the new hire is not just handed a handbook or sat down to watch training modules on their own. They can engage, and we can build a professional relationship. They are presented with our material, take quizzes and exams relating to the material covered, and their equipment is reviewed and inspected through presentations and live walkthroughs. Towards the end of the week, we'd administer the Coaching the Refuse Driver 2 training program, but with our own added takes, making it more applicable to operating a refuse collection vehicle for the City of Mesa. We incorporated our own presentation to coincide with the video series and edited the study guide and final exam administered at the end of the series to better reflect our expectations. Next slide, please. When presenting policies and procedures, we cover City of Mesa and solid waste departmental policies, which span from cell phone use, post-accident drug testing, our onboard vehicle camera policy, entry-level driver regulations, and City of Mesa's ELD program, if applicable. When reviewing best practices, we cover how to identify hazards in the field, such as overhead obstructions and the dangers of collecting in congested environments. And we inform the trainee of frequently found collection issues like block bins, containers, overloads, and excess material, and what the best practice might be in those scenarios from a safety standpoint. We review landfill and transfer station safety by showing pictures and video footage of dangerous or risky behaviors typically seen in the environment, and stress the importance of lockout tagout procedures when cleaning out their vehicle. If time allows, we tour landfills and transfer stations and explain the various hazards they will inevitably come across throughout their career. Next slide, please. When discussing incident or accident prevention and communication, we cover how to look for hazards by presenting real-life examples of incidents so the trainee can see what to expect in the field. We discuss how to avoid incidents by making good decisions and utilizing safe techniques when hazardous situations are unavoidable. We discuss how and when to report unsafe conditions as well. Emphasis is placed on recognizing the difference between a hazard and risk, stressing that the job itself is inherently hazardous, but the actions we take can mitigate the risk. We explain the reporting and documentation process as to who to contact, stress the importance of preserving the incident or accident scene until help arrives, and what happens post-accident. Next slide, please. To promote a positive safety culture, we want every operator to feel comfortable expressing their concerns and be forthcoming with issues they come across in the field. We inform the new hire that when an incident or accident occurs, we check on the operator's well-being, obtain and document their statement, provide immediate feedback regarding how an incident may have been prevented, and review the reporting process. Encouraging the new hire to ask questions and freely discuss their opinion helps build a foundation of trust when speaking about incidents and accidents. Our team's objective is to have a positive safety culture, and we recognize that by providing our employees with items and tools they need, it reassures them that we are looking out for their safety and well-being. We provide them the PPE they need and are required to use, but we give them options so they are more inclined to use them. During orientation, they are provided a binder containing material tailored to the type of vehicle they will be operating, as well as general information they might find helpful, such as maps, landfill instructions, contact information, and Department of Transportation pre-trip information. Next slide, please. Finally, we spend the better part of our last day together performing pre-trip inspections on our trucks and explaining key differences of each model of truck. Our testing expectations and scoring criteria are discussed prior to the new operator attempting to test. For the following 2 weeks, the trainee begins their on-the-job training with an operator trainer before being cleared to operate our equipment on their own. The first day, the trainer assesses the trainee's skill level and knowledge by practicing collecting bins, barrels, or loading or unloading containers at our support services center. If the trainer and trainee feel comfortable, they go out into the field where the trainer operates the truck en route and talks the trainee through their actions. During the next 7 days, the trainee progressively spends more time behind the wheel, learning the equipment until they are clear to operate the vehicle on their own. Should the new operator be an internal hire that does not currently possess a commercial driver's license, they are first put through our entry-level driving program, where they spend approximately 20 hours in a classroom setting, followed by 80 hours of combined CDL evaluation on a track and over the road behind the wheel training with a certified driver trainer prior to testing for their CDL. Next slide, please. Our goals of introducing new hires to our organization, promoting a positive safety culture, reviewing best practices, and focusing on prevention are worked on every day through conversation and formal presentations with our operators and staff. Open dialogue and communication is something we strongly believe to be essential in achieving our purpose. And with that, I would like to thank everyone for allowing me to present today and showcase the program that previous safety education coordinators have developed and implemented, and that Brian and myself now curate, update, and improve to help administer at a high level for safety education to our operators. With that, I can take any questions.
Thank you, Dave. Are any other municipalities or communities that would like to share any of their safety practices or training programs? Okay, thank you to everyone for presenting. Next, we will talking about requests for future agenda items. Anyone? All right, well, oh, go ahead.
I'm not involved with the transportation, but I was kind of curious on the cities. How many are moving towards alternative fuels? How many are contemplating going with electric vehicles and things of that nature? That would be interesting to hear about.
Thank you, Rich. Anyone else that has any ideas that they would like to talk about at future meetings? If you can't think of anything now, you can always email MAG staff. Next, are there any comments from the committee? If you want to go around and do a brief summary of any current events Remember, the committee is not allowed to propose, discuss, deliberate, or take action of any matter.
Hey, this is Robert Bonacker, City of Buckeye. Just to make everyone aware, we're currently reviewing bulk trash and considering taking bulk trash in-house. Basically, we've got a bit of an overhaul for the different, some solid waste activities, bulk trash, recycling, and household hazardous waste. Reviewing what we're doing and benchmarking to well, the other cities on MAG here. So I'll probably be reaching out to a number of you, trying to find out what you're doing for your programs and processes for bulk trash, and also for household hazardous waste. And we're re-looking at recycling. We currently have a diversion of about 20%, but we know that about only 20 to 30% of that material then actually is considered usable. And that's one of our main concerns regarding recycling. But we're trying to find out what everyone else is doing with recycling and what the costs are that's going back to residents, because we want to just make sure that we're providing the best service for our residents, and at the same time not being wasteful. We're going to have a bunch of stuff still ending up in the landfill. Anyway, so I'm sure I'll be reaching out to many of you, and I appreciate any time you can give over the next couple of weeks. Thanks.
This is Rich Allen. The recycling facility out at our location back in late 2019 was destroyed by a fire, and we're finally at the stage where it's being rebuilt. So it's actually owned and operated by Republic Services. So they have begun construction. Hopefully the building will start going up sometime next month. The equipment's all on site. And right now they're projecting to be complete by the end of March. So I know there's a shortage of places to do recycling in the valley, and we're part of the problem because ours is not operating. So we're hoping to start operation here in the spring. It did allow them, even though no one ever wants a fire, it did allow them to redesign from the ground up the facility. And, you know, back in 2000, when that facility was being planned, the big item that people were trying to collect was newspaper. And now that obviously is not a big item in the recycling. So it allowed them to redesign it to more for what's found in the recycle bin today. There's a lot more technology that's being used in this facility. So they're going to actually reduce the number of hand sorters that are going to be necessary. So we're looking forward to having it back up and running and operating on our facility.
This is Sherry Collins with City of Mesa. Along the lines of recycling, we put out an RFP for recycling several weeks ago. And so we have received those responses back, and we're evaluating them. So that's all I have right now. I mean, we don't have any answers, or, you know, we can't really share any information at this point, but that should be coming out here in the next few weeks or a few months, maybe. Depends on how long it takes us to evaluate them.
Adam Kurtz, City Goodyear. We're in the middle of a bulk route reroute. We just started last month. It's been 10 years since we had done any changes to our bulk routes, and with growth and this the number of accounts, we've had to switch our collection. We brought in an outside vendor, Burns and McDonald, did a route study for us and worked with us on that. And we worked with our GIS group to redesign the routes, and they've implemented them. And we thought we could just stick with social media on the advertising of the new routes. And we quickly found out that there are still quite a few people that like to get paper handouts. And we are in the process of sending out flyers here shortly with with the new maps on them. So, we're also gearing up for a couple more waste audits. We use Waste Connections to do our trash and recycling collections. We'll be doing 2 audits, one in October and one in December. That'll finish out the recycling waste audits that we started back when COVID was still active, which I guess it still is, but not so much. We should finish those up, and then we'll get a baseline of where our recycling is at right now. We know we have some issues with contamination in some of the areas of our city right now, and we're going to take a broader look at our recycling program in general and see what direction we want to go in and what leadership decides to do moving forward. But that's where we're at right now. So thank you.
It's Robert Parks from Surprise. I don't have much updates, just that this upcoming October we'll have our fall household hazardous waste collection, which we do with Carrie Environmental, and that's the only updates I have for us.
This is Tracy Conaway. We went out for an RFP a little while ago for recycling processing, and Republic Service was our selection. They're expanding their transfer station on Germain, which is in South Chandler near our facility. So starting in January, we'll be delivering recycling to them. They will be taking it to Tucson until the facility out at Salt River is ready to go. So we're looking forward to the new equipment that Rich talked about. That's what's going on with us right now. Final call for anybody wants to share anything? Okay, business is now concluded. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Mr. Robert, I would like the motion to adjourn.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.